What is up, everybody? Happy Friday, the end of the week. Everybody is stoked. I'm gonna adjust my webcam real quick because it's looking a little funky. TikTok, you guys are golden, but YouTube, Instagram's a little dark. This is the filmmaker in me. Gotta adjust things. All right, here we go. Yes, little contrast. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. That's good. Okay. Cool. So welcome everybody to the Human Reboot, our weekly AI recap and deep dive. Thanks for everybody who was tuning in last week. Brendan's here again. What's up, buddy? Hey, we are going to get together next week unless I have to go to Biloxi. I got a call from casting last night about maybe doing that movie that Mike Sue is directing. So um, if that doesn't happen, then Monday night we're getting together. But if I got to go to Mississippi, then we'll get together when I get back. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened. Sorry, I'm getting a message here. All right, cool. So yeah, a lot of things happening in the world of AI this week. This YouTube camera is still kind of bumming me out a little bit. Hold on. Oh, maybe that. Oh, that's what we want. That's what we want. And this, and this, and this. TikTokers are like, what the hell is he doing? This is the downside of being a filmmaker, is you can't do anything half-ass. Okay, so AI recap this week. Lots of stuff happened. So first up, we are going to talk about something very interesting that happened over on Instagram. So you might know this model turned turned musician turned actress Mila Jovovich. She posted a video, which is here. It's this pinned video right here. It's got 89,000 likes and 4,000 comments. She announced that she has developed, along with her friend Ben, a open source memory program for AI. And basically, they developed this thing that you can install to enhance the memory of any AI that you use. So it has a way of truncating and moving data around. Lots of stuff that is way too smart for me to understand. But I, they have it open source here over on GitHub. Mila Jovovich /Mem Palace is what it's called. And so basically, it has instructions here, information about what it does and all of that. And then, what I did with my OpenClaw, I just copied and pasted this GitHub depository and said, hey, is this, useful to us? And it was like, yes, this will fix a lot of the memory issues that we have and stuff like that, because it was having some problems like recalling conversations that we had earlier and things like that. So then it installed it. I just said, hey, go ahead and install this, and installed it all. And then instantly this thing was I was able to ask it like, hey, what was the first conversation we had, which was, I installed OpenClaw back on day 10 of the human reboot experiment. So that was March 10th. So once I installed this thing, I asked what was the first thing we talked about, and it, was able to recall and say, oh, we were trying to figure out how to set up Discord on the channels and blah blah blah. So it definitely works. They just launched it this week, and there's a Discord set up for it where people are chiming in, and they're basically testing it and making tweaks and everything. So if you're, on the more advanced side of AI and are interested in that, head over to the Mim Palace GitHub depository. And if you have OpenClaw, just give it this depository information, and it'll install it for you. It looks like there's also instructions on, how to set it up for Claude and with Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Gemini. So it essentially improves the memory on your computer working with any of these LLMs. So if you're constantly saying like, oh, my AI is so stupid, it can't remember anything, definitely look into this and install it on your system, because it's making a lot of difference for me. And I think, for me, kind of the more important thing to look at with this is the fact that you have an actress who's, arguably very successful, and she's married to a very successful film director, is involved in AI now, right? And we know, with them, it's not necessarily a money thing. It's just that I think they see where this industry is headed. And then about a month ago, Ben Affleck did a about face, in my opinion, and we found out that he had been developing a AI company since 2022 that he then sold to Netflix for six figures. So you have these big artists essentially getting involved in the AI space, and I think that's because they recognize that this thing is here to stay, and it's just going to keep advancing. We had Matthew McConaughey, which was the first actor to trademark his look. And, I've watched a couple interviews with him, and he is super excited. He's like, you got to be smart, you got to protect yourself, but also like, the possibilities are endless. And that's what I believe. I think right now we're in this, weird space that usually happens when new tech comes on the scene, especially in the art space. And I'll just use film as an example. When film went from silent movies to talkies, everybody was like, oh, nobody's going to want to hear people talk. They just want to see the visuals. And then talkies came, and the silent pictures died. And then when TV came around, everybody was like, oh, nobody's going to want to watch, TV and entertainment in their home. They want to go to the movie theaters. And TV came out, and, we all know how that ended. And then streaming, same thing. Nobody's going to want to go, watch movies at home. They want to watch in a movie theater. But more people watch films on streaming now than they do in the movie theaters. Digital cameras were the same thing. Everybody was like, nobody's going to want to watch movies that are made on digital cameras. They want to watch movies made on film. And at the end of the day, nobody cares. Like Christopher Nolan cares. Sure, I as a filmmaker like film, but it cost wise, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I think that's where we're headed with AI, is that you have the people who are like, oh, nobody's ever going to want to watch AI. It's all slop and blah blah blah. But I think the majority of people don't care. If the story is good, if it's, funny or whatever, then that's all that matters. And people, your general audience, does not care how this stuff is made. And so I think we're going to be seeing more and more of it. And, along those same notes, one thing that I think is funny, this past weekend, if you follow me on the socials, I, finally got into posting some generative AI stuff, which is something that I've kind of been avoiding, just because I work in the industry and I have a lot of artist friends who work in the industry and stuff. And I knew there was going to be like a little bit of kickback. Oddly enough, from the people I know and the people I work with and the professionals that, I'm in the space with, I got nothing but kudos and congrats and excitement on this, because I think they see, the power of this thing and the democratization of filmmaking and visual storytelling as an art form and as a medium, which at the end of the day is why we all got into this in the first place. but it's social media, right? It's YouTube, it's Instagram, and so you get the trolls. And the one that I love the most is anytime somebody says like AI slop, right? They're like calling out that, oh, it's not real, it's AI. Here's the funny thing. So anytime someone writes AI slop on a video, they think they're doing it to rebel against the system of generative AI. What's really happening is they are doing free research for, on the example of Instagram and Facebook, for Meta. So they are training Meta to understand what looks real and what looks fake so that their systems can get better at creating realistic AI, so generative AI. So I just think that's funny that you have people thinking they're rebelling, but really they're training for free the the machine that is Meta to be able to create more and more realistic video and images, so that eventually we will live in a world where you can't tell the difference at all. So that just makes me a little happy in my heart. So next time you think about being a hater and typing AI slop, just remember that you are doing free research for Meta or ByteDance or whatever platform that you're on. So I digress. So that is the first big AI news moment that happened this week, Mem Palace. The next big thing that happened was that Anthropic, who's the makers of Claude, put the kibosh on OpenAI or OpenClaw, which we knew was going to happen. Anytime open source is released, especially a successful open source, you have corporate entities that try to figure out how to monetize and make money and prohibit it from becoming a competitor. So, last week we already heard, NVIDIA developing their own, Meta developing their own. And then basically the way OpenClaw works is it's a local system on your computer, but it uses existing AI. So whether it's ChatGPT with OpenClaw or OpenAI, or if it's Anthropic's Claude or Google's Gemini, or different one, Olama and things like that. They run on API keys is one way to do it. So every time that you are talking with your OpenClaw, it's using tokens, which is what all of AI is based on, is tokens. And so you're paying per millions of token usage. There is another system inside of OpenClaw, which is called OAuth, which is basically if you pay for a subscription to Claude or Gemini or OpenAI, you can use that in your OpenClaw system. So you're only going to hit the same caps that you would hit on your monthly subscription. So that's separate from API calls. So, up until last week, you could use Anthropic and OpenAI for your OAuth. You can use Google as well, but Google had already been, shutting down people's accounts without warning and stuff. So everybody was steering clear of using their Google Gemini Pro accounts for OAuth, but people were still using Claude mainly, and then also ChatGPT. So Anthropic came out and said, no more, you can't use OAuth for ChatGPT or other systems. If you do use it, you have to upgrade your account to add, extra stuff. So they're just trying to get the money, right? At the same time, they released Cowork and Dispatch, so it's very clear that Anthropic is developing their own open source OpenClaw system, and that's kind of the downside of open source, is when you make it available for free for everybody, that means corporations can use it as well, and that's what's happening with Anthropic. As of now, you can still use ChatGPT OAuth through OpenAI. So like my OpenClaw, I use my ChatGPT account. And then if that maxes out, which I maxed it out this last week, then at that point it shifts into a API call. So I use Google Gemini, and it does start to pile up pretty quick. Like, I can use, like last week, it caps out at 7 days. So it gives you like a percentage, 100% for 7 days. And then when that reaches zero, then you shift over to your backups, which are API. So at like, I think it's day 6 or day 5.5, I hit my cap and then shifted over to Gemini. So that one day that I was just using Gemini on OpenClaw, I think it cost me like $40 in API credits. But I was doing a lot of testing and stuff because we're developing, the social media content manager and the uh, teleprompter for the iPhone that works in cinematic mode, and a couple other things. So we were doing a lot of calls and stuff, and generating test after test of images, trying to set up that content manager system. So that is another thing that happened in the world of AI this week. And then the biggest thing that happened this week in the world of AI was the release of Seedance 2.0 worldwide, including the US. So if you don't know, Seedance 2.0 is the next version of Seedance, which is the video generative AI developed by ByteDance, who also developed TikTok. Hey, what's up, Jocko? And then so they released that, and originally they released it worldwide with the exception of the US and I think one other country. So people have been beta testing this and testing it with VPNs and things like that over the past month or so. Last month we saw the unions in Hollywood kind of push back on Seedance because there was a video of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fighting and talking and sounding just like them and looking just like them, and then all of a sudden, I think it was kind of like a eye opener for Hollywood of like, oh wow, this AI thing isn't going to be something that we need to worry about in a couple years. This is here now, and we need to deal with it now. So they, serve cease and desist, and then ByteDance held off on their release. They kind of nerfed it and dumbed it down a little bit and changed some parameters in it, and then rolled it out slowly throughout the world. But then this week it released in the US. And so I'll go through a couple. So you can get it on most every AI platform now: Fall AI, Higgsfield, and some different ones. There's two that I would recommend. The first one is Top View AI. So Top View has it has a unlimited right now. So if you get the yearly plan, which I think is about $500. Let's see here. Top View AI. Let's go to their website. So yeah, if you come here to Top View AI, you can get the annual business account for $528 annually. And here's the thing, it comes with unlimited for a year Seedance 2.0. Now, from the people who I've seen talking about this, it caps at, you can do 4 videos at a time. And when you're using the unlimited, it can take up to 4 hours to generate these videos, which is really slow, but you're not paying credits for them. So you're getting, it's kind of, you're getting them slower, but it's not costing you any credits. You also get 3,000 credits a year, and they give you those all up front. So then you can spend all those as well. But then when you run out of them, you can use the unlimited. And if you want a video generation quicker, you can not use the unlimited and just use your credits. So that's one to look at if you think that you're going to be doing a lot of Seedance generations. Check out Top View. And from everything I've seen, top view, so a big parameter that Seedance put based on the Hollywood lashback is that they nerfed the ability to use photos of faces. So, when you go here and you do like a AI video and you do a reference, you could, use a video of a face when it first was developed, and then they put the kibosh on it. So a lot of places like Hicksfield and stuff, you can't do that. With Top View, apparently you can use reference images of faces. So that is a good thing, and I've seen a lot of tests. JS Films on Instagram and YouTube is posting a lot of tests and short films that he's been doing on Top View specifically, and they all look amazing. So if you don't follow him, check out his stuff. JS Films with a Z. He's doing some super cool stuff on Seedance. So that's Top View. If you have $500 to drop and want to generate a lot of stuff. The other one that I have noticed lets you do video with faces is Galaxy AI. So Galaxy AI is the big one. Hey, what's up, Jay Flats over on YouTube? Good to see you, buddy. So I'm gonna sign into my YouTube chat over here. I wish with OBS you could just press a button and it all works, but dang, you gotta do like so many other things. So one thing I want to do, I have a so Galaxy AI is aggregator of everything. It has Seedance 2.0. For $15 a month, you get 15 million credits. Now, to give you an idea, a Seedance video with reference images costs 3.5 million. So that 15 million, if you're doing Seedances, you're gonna be able to make less than 4 videos, and then you'll be capped out. But you can add credits. And it's not that expensive. You use basically $1 per million credits. So for $100, you get 100 million. Plus, they have a bonus. It's $15 a month for that 15 million, which is super cheap. They're also doing a deal, which is here. This lifetime access for $400, and you get 150 million bonus credits instantly. So you're essentially getting 10 months worth of the 15 million up front for $400. It's lifetime access, and then you get an additional 15 million credits every month. And then they also, every day when you log in, you can click on this this free credit thing, and it's got a little calendar. And then every day this one resets in 3.5 hours. You can click and you win credits. So yesterday I won 321,000 credits. So you usually get like 100 to 400,000 free credits every day that you log in. So it goes pretty good. It has all of the models in it, but it has Seedance too, like I said. And it also, from at least as of yesterday, lets you use faces. So I am just gonna come over here and we're gonna do a little test here. So we'll go image to video. We'll click here. Here's Seedance 2.0. 2.0 fast, 2.0 reference. So let's do fast, all right, because it's a little cheaper. And then let's go and we'll get a shot here. So I'll find one with a face so that we can test this out. These are shots I made on Midjourney for a project that I'm developing. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on one second. Let me find a good one. Okay, we'll do this photo. So this is a photo I generated in Midjourney, very cinematic. We can obviously see a guy's face. We'll put that in here, and then we'll say man in image is running through the tunnels being chased. He gets cornered and fights the soldiers. Okay. We'll do 15 seconds. We'll do 720 because it's a little bit cheaper. We might have to do this with reference, but I'll try it. I'll try it just with this version first, and then we hit generate, and we'll see if it works or not. If it fails, then I'll try the reference. But again, as of yesterday, this was taking images with a face. As you can see, I did some tests. So here's a test that I did with Seedance 2 of Danyan and Banyan fighting. So this is, here, let me full screen it for you guys. This was made in Seedance 2. And as you can see, it is definitely Danyan and Banyan's faces. And they're doing a little fight. And then, so yeah, as of yesterday, Galaxy AI Seedance 2 takes references with faces. If you're interested, I do have an affiliate link. I'm just gonna pop that in the YouTube chat real quick. If anybody wants it. Let's see here. It's not letting me. Anyway, if you are interested, go to try.galaxy.ai/frictionless and sign up. That's my affiliate link. I'll get, as it says, 30% on whatever you spend if you do 15 a month or if you do the full lifetime. And then also make sure to use this promo code G4S5XMW, and that'll give you 10 million free extra credits for the month. So if you do the $15 a month, you'll get 15 million credits. And if you use this promo code and this referral link, you'll also get an additional 10 million. So you'll have 25 million to start. And like I said, generally, if you're doing Seedance, that's going to cost about 3.5 million credits per generation. So it's definitely pretty pricey right now. Other ones that I use, VEO, I use, everybody talks about it. I'm never happy with what it does. So I would avoid that. Kling is great. Kling is what I used for the videos that I did last week, where I took video of myself and replaced the backgrounds and different things. That was all done in Kling. So it has Kling. Haluo is one that I really like. I think it does really nice stuff. I'll show you one in a second. It's got Higgs field DOP, which has camera movements and things like that. So you can use that. LTX is also really good until it's not. It gets really cool stuff, but if you do longer videos, it starts to go crazy and looks like something out of Venom. With like the black liquid and stuff. Sora 2, it has older versions of Seedance and stuff. So Galaxy AI is great. Again, it has all of these. It also has a ton of image generators like Nano Banana and Flux and different things. So if you're looking for a good cheap way to test a whole bunch of different models and figure out which ones you like, Galaxy AI, I think, is kind of the best the best deal in town. It's what I use. I don't use Higgs field or any of those. Um, so definitely check that out. And while this is processing, I'm going to show you something that I found out today. I have not. It generated. So before we go into that, so this just generated. Let's check out what this is. So this is Seedance 2. He's running. He's shooting, and then he's gonna fight. All right. So that was interesting. As you can see, it definitely kept his face and the look. So we have bypassed with Seedance 2 the whole face shutdown. This video, generally, if we were doing a real video, we would have ChatGPT or Gemini or something shoot the or write the prompt for us with exactly what we are looking for, because it's a lot better at writing prompt language and then dump that in there. But the main process or the main purpose of showing you this was just to show that it indeed works with the face. It took the image on Galaxy AI, it bypassed the nerf that ByteDance had to do because of Hollywood. So this is super valuable for anybody who's making AI films or ads or anything like that. So check it out, Galaxy AI. Another thing that I found out today that I am going to be looking into is something called Open Higgs Field AI. So it's basically an open source that someone developed, Anil Macha, and it basically is a local hosted version that lives on your computer that gives you access to all of the generative AI models that Higgs field does, but without the Higgs field, without the Higgs field monthly subscription fee. So you're still paying per generation, but you're just paying a flat fee per generation for whatever you want. So essentially, you would install this GitHub repository on your computer. They have a desktop version, they have a web-based version, they have a comfy UI version. So however you want to do it, and then you go over to this Muapi and you get a free account, and then essentially Muapi has all of the different models with pricing. So Seedance 2 Omni reference is, starts at 75 cents for a 5-second video right here. And then if you go up to 15 seconds, then it's $2.25. So essentially you could just run these right here. Now I haven't tested this yet. I don't know if this has the nerf on it where it won't take facial images, but it's something worth checking out, because again, this whole thing would live on your system and you're not paying a monthly fee. So if you're a bit braver and a bit more tech savvy and understand GitHub depositories and things like Comfy UI and stuff, definitely check out Open Higgs Field AI on GitHub and set that up. I will be doing that this weekend on my system so I can start testing it out. So that is that. And now that is all of the AI news and recap for the week. So now what we're going to do is get back into, oh, sorry, my pits are a little sweaty. It's it's summer in April in California, but I would rather it be hot and sweaty. As yes, yo mama, it is definitely hot here. But I was just in New York and it was freezing, so I will take the hot over the cold any time. So we are going to pick up where we left off last week. So if you were here last week, we were working on creating a generative AI ad for like a spec ad for the social media content manager that I'm building with Banyan, who's my OpenClaw. So I wanted to create a social media ad that will run to tell people about the app and get them to sign it up. Yo mama, I do this every week, every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, usually for an hour to 2 hours, depending on how deep down the rabbit hole we go. So we last week we started with using OpenAI to develop the ad idea. We developed kind of like an entourage style ad where it's like, a guy in a small bedroom apartment in Hollywood, like, post-it notes all over, being overrun by trying to, do a social media content post and stuff like that, feeling discouraged, making a post and only like 2 people look at it. And then he discovers the app and he starts using it, and then people start taking notice and he starts becoming, like an influencer and getting invited to parties and things like that. And so we created these photos, and let me see if I can bring these up real quick. So hang on, let me switch the camera. If I can. Nope. Yes. Okay. So these are the photos that we made last week, and they were, they were all right, but I just felt like they were very just AI boring, right? Like these are the ones that we made. This guy, and then the app, and then him being weird. He's got 2 hands and stuff like this, and then walking down the street. They just feel very generic AI kind of ad style, and it wasn't really what I was looking for. And then once the live stream ended, I did a few more tests and got it a little bit more into some a little bit of kind of some stylized, more what I was looking for. But in the end, I was not happy because we were using Nano Banana, and it just makes everything look kind of like stock photography AI, and I wanted more like a filmic kind of thing because I'm a filmmaker. So then this week I basically did a workflow on Galaxy AI where I use Midjourney. So I think Midjourney is the best image generator in my opinion, at least for cinematics. So if you have a Midjourney account, you can do this on their actual website. If you don't, you can do it through Galaxy AI. But I will show you what we generated here. Let me go back to Galaxy AI. Is this it? Nope. Nope. Sorry, I'm trying to find this ad or this okay, here it is. All right, that should be it. Okay, so if we go back to Galaxy AI, if we come to images, so this is the image generator, much like the video generator, and you can select Nano Banana, GPT, which is OpenAI's image system, Imagen, Kling, Seedream, Runway ML, but you can select Midjourney, as well. And then, you can select your aspect ratios. You can drop in a lot of what you can do on the actual Midjourney site, which is input images, style reference, character reference, and then you can generate images. So I came in here and I started generating some images, and I'll show you these. So just scroll through other things I've been working on this week. Okay, so this is what we kind of landed with, is more of this very like stylized film look, right? And these were all done in Midjourney, but we use the same prompts, right? The creator walking into intense photographer's flashes, high contrast night lighting, each flash revealing sharp detail, blah blah blah. So I created a bunch of these that in my opinion looks much more like what I wanted this ad to look like. So I created all of these in Midjourney. As you can see, it's all different people, right? It's a brunette guy, an African American gentleman. You have some females in here. Blonde dude. This guy, like they're all different. But I was looking more at the actual imagery, right? And then I took the ones that I liked and I brought them into Google Flow. So if you're making an ad, what I would suggest is create your images, develop the ad in OpenClaw or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever LLM you use to write it and to break it all down shot by shot and give you your prompts. And then go over to Galaxy AI or to Midjourney itself and take those prompts and paste them in to create your images. Once you have a collection of images that you like, then the new workflow that I figured out this week is you want to bring it over to Google Labs. So Google has a website called labs.google, and it's basically like a hub for all of Google's different things that they're rolling out. There's Flow and there's Stitch, which I did a video on, and some other ones. But Flow is what we're looking at today for this workflow. So you can basically start a new project, and then it creates like a project board where you bring in photos and things like that. So this is the board that I made. So I brought in all those original photos, and then I found a guy. I can't remember which photo he was in, but this guy right here was in one of those photos that I made in Midjourney, and I was like, I like that guy. He looks nice. He's young. I would believe that he's like a up and coming, content creator, and so I liked him. So then basically the way Flow works is you bring in of image, and then so let's say we upload this image and then it's in there, and then we can basically type in here. So I'll just give you an example real quick. Let's say we want to put this guy in a tuxedo, right? We select, so we're doing 9:16, but it has these other aspect ratios as well. And then you can select Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2. And then it says generating will use 0 credits. So these are free Nano Banana credits. I don't know, I'm sure there's a cap that you hit daily. When I was creating these, I didn't hit that cap. So you can generate on here for a while. So then you would just type what you want to change on this picture and hit the button, and then it'll generate that, and we'll see what it comes up with. So Nano Banana, the reason so many people talk about Nano Banana is it's really good at consistency. So using the same character from shot to shot and things like that. In my opinion, it's not that great at creating like cinematic, stylish photos. So what I did was I created the images in Midjourney, as I said, and then I brought them in here so that I could harness the power of Nano Banana for character consistency, because that's the biggest thing. If we're creating an ad, we want to follow the same character throughout the entire ad. We don't want it to be a different person for every shot, unless we're, you know, focusing on a bunch of different people. But for this ad, we're not. So we wanted to focus on one person. So you can see here, it changed it to a tuxedo. Same guy, different outfit. And then, but the cool thing is this is non-destructive. So, you know, if I have this selected and then I come here, it's the tuxedo photo. But if I, hey, dog, shh, hush, hush, come here, come here, chill out, chill out, chill out. Sorry about that. But then what we can do, Cora, stop it, is just click on this guy to switch back. And now if you look and I go back to my board, it's this dude again in his outfit. So that's good because you're not destructing the images. So then what's up, Jared? First, good to see you, buddy. So essentially I pulled this guy out of this image that I liked, and then the key to character consistency is to create a character reference sheet, right? We see them in like animation and stuff where it's basically a usually drawn, sketched of a character, you know, full body and side profiles and things like that. So we want to create one of those for character consistency. So I pulled this guy and I just, you know, I had the original image from Midjourney, and then I typed in here, give me a close-up shot of this guy on a white background, and it generated this. And then I did the same for these other ones. For this one, it was give me a full body shot of this guy on a white background, then give me a back close-up, and then left 3/4 profile, right, or vice versa, right, left, 3/4 profile. And then I took all of those videos because you can do multiple images in here. I put all 5 of those images together and said create a character reference sheet, and then it gave me this. So then what I did, now that I have this, is each time, I'll just give you an example here. Let's upload an image. Let me go to my downloads here. Let's see, we'll do this wacky alien character that I made. So you bring your image in. Okay, so it's here. So this is the image that we're gonna use. So basically, once it's in here, you can @ it, use the @ symbol, and it'll call up. So I'll say put @ and I'll select this character reference file, put that guy in this image, and then add it. Whoops. Where did it go? Add it again, and then find my alien photo, which is here, and then hit enter. And then what it should do, I had it at 2x, so it's doing two images at 16:9 because I forgot to set that. And you can do video as well. It'll use VEO for video. If you come here, which is Google's video version, so we will, and this does use, it looks like credits, 20 credits is the cheapest for VEO Lite. So we'll try that in a second. So here we go. Okay, so this one was a miss. This one basically just put him in the teary clown makeup, but in the full body. But the other one is pretty solid. That's the dude. It kept some of the hair and stuff. So that's how we do this. So essentially I did it for all of those photos. You remember those photos that I showed that I created with Midjourney? They were all different people and stuff. So I was able to put this guy in every one of those shots. So here's the dude at the pool party. Here's him walking down the sunny palm tree lined street. Here's him getting out of the Escalade at the premiere. Here's him walking through the paparazzis with the sunglasses on and stuff. And one thing I did was I would say, like, put this guy in outfit and environment from, because if I didn't want him to be in this outfit in all these photos, right? So, you know, I wanted him to be in like the suits and things like that. So then I would just, you know, if I put, to use this clown example again, you know, if we didn't use the outfit, so it put him in this outfit, right? The blue jacket with the beige shirt. But if I wanted to put him in this, this shirt here, then I would say in outfit and environment from. I'll hit add again, go to my alien person here. I'm going to change this time to 9:16 and 1 version. And then we'll hit this, and then it should put him in that t-shirt. So that's the way that I was able to create all of these. And the cool thing is, you know, you can keep building on it, and I'll show you here in a second. You know, sometimes you got to tweak things afterwards, right? Like this one. Okay, so here we go. So I put him now in that same shirt because we said to put it in the outfit. So that's how you do that. So this is a example of how you can keep iterating. So, you know, I brought this guy in, and then I was like, I kind of, you know, I want to put him with like friends. So I put the man in outfit and environment from Generation 2, have guy in motion walking with beautiful woman and another guy all dressed similar in style to his. And then it made this one here. And then I tried to tweak it to make it more like the source photo, but that one didn't work. But basically that's how I created that. So you can, you know, continue tweaking these. So I'll give you an example of one that I still don't like, which is he's just like posing for the camera. So I'm going to say have him looking at laptop, hard at work. And then we'll hit enter, and we'll see what it does here. So this, as of now, seems to be the best workflow that I can find for generating and tweaking images for ads or for your short films or full length AI films, if you're, you know, that's what you're looking for, or just images as well, is to create your photos in whatever platform you prefer. Again, I prefer Midjourney. See, in this one kind of did a close up, which isn't terrible. And then, you know, bring it in here and tweak it and do your character and consistency and stuff and get it all dialed in, because the way that AI filmmaking works best is you want to create the visuals first, and then once you have the visuals locked, then you want to move on to the video for a couple reasons. One, video is a lot more expensive credit wise. Like we saw, Nano Banana on Flow is costing us 0 credits. So I can just keep iterating and changing and things like that, and it's not costing me any credits. Once we go to video, at the, you know, the light version, it's 10 credits each time. If we go up to their highest version, which is VEO 3.1 quality, then it's 100 credits at a time. So you're going to burn up credits really fast. So you don't, you know, that's why if you are trying to create something as a filmmaker that you specifically have in your head, this is the best way to do it, is to create the visuals first, just like if you were storyboarding, right? If you like close your eyes and you see the scene in your head or the characters or whatever, you want to start with the visuals. So you make all of your visuals here. These are all the different scenes, right? Based on the beat sheet that we put together last week. And then you lock these all in and get the actual look and feel that you want. And then once you have this, then and only then do you move on to the video side of things. And I think the best way to look at AI filmmaking is just like regular filmmaking. So on a regular set, when I'm directing a movie, we go into set and, we ideally rehearse the scene. Sometimes we're shooting so fast that we have to shoot the rehearsal essentially. But ideally you rehearse with the actors, you figure out some things, and then you shoot the first take. And then based on that, you're most likely going to make some adjustments. Some adjustments will be to the actors, to the performance. Some adjustments will be to the blocking. Some adjustment will be to the lighting. Some adjustments will be to the set deck or props or something like that. And then, you will do a take 2 once you've changed that. And then you might change more things. And, sometimes you do 2-3 takes and you move on. Sometimes you do like 15 takes if it's much more in depth and you're trying to really get something that lands. If it's like a very intricate oneer or something like that, then you're going to do more takes to nail it. So AI filmmaking is the same thing. It's like you're doing multiple generations of a video and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and you are adjusting based on that each take. Except in this scenario, we are adjusting the wording in the prompts. Okay, so that's I think the best way to approach AI filmmaking and to view it is every generation is another take, and you are adjusting things, each version. So with that said, let's dive into trying to do a shot here. So let's see here. I'm going to open up my Discord real quick, which is where my OpenClaw is and where we were working on the ad last week. And it gave me prompts for the video. So, well, let's just start at the beginning. So I have this first prompt: tiny apartment struggle, slow cinematic push in towards the creator sitting at his desk in the cramped Hollywood apartment at night. He stares at the laptop, barely moving, except for a small shift in posture and a tired blink. Practical lamp light stays warm and stable. City light softly glows through the window. Subtle ambient room movement only. Grounded realism. Premium television drama look. So I'm going to copy that. And then let's come in here and let's figure out which one looks good for that. So let's grab this one here. All right, so this is him working. I think this was the first shot that we had. So I'm going to put this prompt. Well, first I'm going to switch to, let's see. I think we're going to have to do it here. I'm going to switch to video. We're at 9:16. We're going to use the light. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to post, let's see if I can, yep, okay. So we're going to use that at signal man posing an outfit. And then we have our prompt, slow cinematic push in towards the creator, what I just read. So this is the prompt that OpenAI gave us for this shot of the ad. And again, if you were using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or Perplexity or any of those, they would give you, their own version of the prompt. It usually, I find, this just gave us a general prompt. It's usually better to ask it to give you a prompt for whatever video model you're using. So like in this, we're using VEO 3.1. So it'd say, give me a VEO 3.1 fast prompt for this, and it would give me the prompt, and then I would paste it in. If I was using Cdance 2, I would ask it for a Cdance prompt. If I was using Kling, and etc., etc. So again, this is going to use 10 credits. I don't know how many credits Flow gives us a day, but we should be able to at least do this one. What does it say in this model? Cannot support references. Okay, so maybe we have to do a frame, and hopefully we don't have to do it in frame. So real quick on in frames. In frames are good if you want a specific thing to happen. So like this image, right, that we're using, if I wanted him to come into the frame and sit down and do this, I would basically come in here and I'll just do it, remove man from image. I would just type that, and then it should take him out and give us just the scene without him in there. So let's see here. And maybe we can do this as a test with the actual video, since we'll have it. We shall see. It's generating that. Yeah, so there we go. So we had this, and then we took him out. And I'm going to save that to the project. So it's a new photo. So I can go back to here. And then now here's our new one. So basically what we'll do is we'll start with, just to show you guys how start and end frame works, we'll start with the empty frame, and then we will put this one in, and I'll put walking in and sitting at his desk in the cramped Hollywood apartment. So this will start on a empty desk, and then he's going to walk in as hopefully as the camera slowly pushes in, and he stares at his laptop, yada yada yada. I don't know how long these generate, so we'll find out. And we're going to hit go, and then it will generate this first shot, or not. It says it failed. Oops, something went wrong. Let's try it again. And something went wrong again. Okay, so this is the first time I've tested the video on Flow. So what we will do is I'm going to download this guy here, and we'll download 2K 2K version of this to match the other. And then we will hop over to Galaxy AI, which honestly I prefer anyway, because we can use Hailuo, which is super great. I'll show you an example of one I did. Do I have it? Let me see. Video library. Yeah, this was one I did on Hailuo off of the original photo I made on Midjourney. So like it looks super real, super cinematic. This is him arriving at the premiere with the photographers and all of that. Looks super cool, super expensive. So that was done on Galaxy AI with Hailuo. So we will do that for this one. So let's go into, let's make sure we're on image to video. Let's do Hailuo O2 Pro. Yeah, and we can do start and end frame. So we will do a start frame. Let's see where that went. Hang on, let me find out where this download went. Nope. Okay. So we'll start with the empty frame here. And then our end frame is going to be the guy at the desk. Which is here. And then same thing, we are going to drop our prompt in. We're going to add the creator walking in and sitting at his desk. And then we'll turn off the prompt optimizer. We don't need audio and video for this. I'll turn it on just to show you, but since we're cutting this into an ad that's going to have like voiceover and stuff like that, we don't need audio and video. Maybe we'll put, let's do this. Let's put no music, because we can use the sound effects. If there are sound effects of him walking in, footsteps, Foley, stuff like that, we can use those. But we don't want music because we're gonna, create music with Suno through the whole process. So we'll just come in here, we'll generate the video, and then it says our video is being generated. Again, this is Hailuo, so it's gonna be cheaper than Seedance. If we come over here and look at our detailed view, Seedance, that Seedance run we did was 2.77 million credits for Seedance 2 right now, and that was for the light version. So the full version is 3.5 million, which you can see right here. These are the ones I did at 3.5 million. So 2.77 for the light, but then for Hailuo, it's only 0.37 million, so 370,000 credits. So it's a lot cheaper. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, you can, get the free credits every day. And, I got 321,000 yesterday. So you are getting free credits, and you can always add additional credits as well, but just something to think about. Some models are more expensive. VEO, for some reason, is super expensive. And again, I don't think it's that great of a model. I think Seedance, LTX, Kling, Hailuo, maybe Sora. Those are kind of the ones. I think where Google shines is with Gemini with its LLM, and then also with VEO or Nano Banana for consistency in characters, not for the initial creation of the images, and also for tools like Flow and Stitch and things like that. So we'll just wait for this to process. It usually processes pretty quickly. And then we'll take a look at this. Where's everybody on TikTok? Where are you guys at in the world? I'm in Hollywood, California. It is hot and sunny today. I went and played golf last last weekend. So that was exciting. Oh, you know what? While we're waiting for this, I will show you the other sea dance videos that I made. Some of these are pretty cool. So this is the one that we made earlier, which is whatever. It's not great. And then this one I showed you, this was the first test that I did with actual character references, and they came through, and then I knew we were golden. I knew that Galaxy AI, their version of Sea Dance 2 was not nerfed, so you could use face images. These are some that I did earlier. This was a straight text to prompt, so I just put this prompt in without any imagery. I just wanted an action thriller foot chase through the crowd, through a street in Paris. This is what it gave us. That guy kind of looks like if Tom Cruise and Tom Hardy were the same person. Kind of morphed. Watch this guy jump over the fruit barrel. I mean, it makes no sense in the sense of like, why did he do that? But if you look, it's very impressive in just the gravity of, so all of these individual things are falling. He's going to run into this chair and move it out of the way. Even when he steps up there, these apples and stuff start to fall. This guy reacts, right? Boom. And then he hits that chair and moves it out of the way. So it's super impressive with the physics and stuff. This one, I noticed kind of rolls. It just keeps rolling over. So he's super strong. And that's I don't know if that's the basilica in the back or what that building is, but like I would buy that this is Paris and this looks really good. So this is the first test that I did on Sea Dance. That was just text to prompt or text to video. And then I did this one, which was an image, but I used an image from the back of this woman's head that I had created in this like green neon dance club. So I used that since we couldn't see the face, because when it first launched, even at Galaxy AI, you can use faces. Now, as we've seen during this live stream, you can, but this one was one that I did with the image so I could create the visual look and tone of the scene, and the character, but it was just the back of her head. So this is the one we made, and I'll turn up the sound here.
You picked the wrong person to mess with.
She does I think that looks pretty badass. One thing I did notice is, I'll move my my thing for a second. Let's move this window capture over so you guys can see it. So here, her leg comes up, her left leg to kick him, and then it's her right leg, and then now it's changed into her right leg, and she rolls and comes through. So that's, one of the things you get with AI. But again, I'll play this one more time so you guys can actually see it. Let me move my guy again here.
You picked the wrong person to mess with.
So yeah, pretty dope. And I'll play this one again with the sound on as well. So yeah, Sea Dance 2.0. Um, it's only gonna get better from here, folks. You know, this is like we are at the beginning of this, and that's why I think in a very short amount of time, nobody's gonna care if it's AI or if it was made by people. I think when people say that's a thing, I think they're just hoping because they're scared. I don't think anybody's going to care, and so I think that the key, the thing that I see with AI, especially generative film AI, is that it is going to fully democratize filmmaking from a creative standpoint. You know, all of us, I assume, who got into film as a career, uh, grew up watching movies and loving movies and wanting to tell stories and things like that. And you know, we we tell stories as best we can with the budgets and the gear and the time and the skill that we have. Um, but what AI is going to enable people to do is bat way outside of their budget level, being able to create $100 million looking projects that are just costing credits and time and nothing else. And I think that is super exciting because money and investors and budgets and things like that. Those are the real gatekeepers of filmmaking. As your budget goes up, you costs get crazy and you need so much more crew and stuff because of unions and things like that. And so I think we are moving into a world where a lot of that is not going to exist. And so somebody in the middle of nowhere, not with zero connections to Hollywood, can create unbelievable projects and put them out on streaming and YouTube and different things, and get build an audience and stuff like that. So I think we're moving into a really exciting time, and I'm super excited. But I think that to put your head in the sand and like say that this thing isn't gonna ever take off, that people will always want uh real films made by real people, I think is just, if we look at the past and all of the different technologies that came through Hollywood, I think we're kidding ourselves if we think that AI is not here to stay and that we're just going to see more and more of it. So I think as creators, we need to learn it and understand it, and start harnessing the power of it and leveraging it to create super awesome stuff. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm doing these live streams and all the posts, the daily posts and things like that, to just help everybody to become educated on how this stuff works and what's out there, and how to use it and how to leverage it, because it's becoming cheaper and faster all the time. And I think it's a great time to be a filmmaker. It's a great time to be alive. And I think we're just scratching the surface, and we're just seeing the start of this thing. Here's another one that I made off of a image as well for that same project that I pulled that image of earlier. So yeah, super dope as well. Another thing to keep in mind when you are creating clips in AI, again, you have to think like a real filmmaker. So if I was shooting a take on an actual set, I'm not going to use the whole take, right? I'm going to edit. Once we shoot the whole movie, we go into post and we edit, and we just use the parts that we like. And so that would be, we have to look at AI clips like that. Like this, this is kind of cool, but then it does this like long push in that I wouldn't use, right? And then I wouldn't use any of this. And then it cuts to the dude's gun. I'd use that cocking, but then it kind of, this is dope. I would definitely use that. And then I would probably, I wouldn't use this shot because he's just standing there. I would use this shot once he starts shooting. And then I would use this shot probably like, mid blast. Boom, so boom, and then he rushes the thing. And then we would cut to a different generation. So that's the idea with these, is like, not only do you want to do multiple takes to tweak things, but you want to do multiple takes, and it doesn't need to be exactly what you want from beginning to end. You just need to find the parts that you can use in the edit, and then you'll bring all of this together in the final edit. So let's go and see if our video that we made earlier is done. Did we do it here? Let's see. What's going on? Okay, here it is. All right, so this is the one we just made. Let's see how it played out. So see, I said no music. It still put music, but it did start with him in a clear frame, and then he walks in and sits down. So that's Hailua. And then if you didn't like that, or didn't like how it came together, then you could tweak it, do a couple other versions of it. But I think for this first shot, it's plenty good with how it worked out. Let me just reposition these again. So that would essentially be the process. So, we developed the script in an LLM, which we went over last week. And if you missed that video, the replay is available on YouTube. So we go through all that process. We get the image prompts. Then we use Midjourney on Galaxy AI to create the images. Then we bring it over to Flow in Google. We create the character reference sheet for consistency. Then we replace the character in all of the images. Then we go over to Galaxy AI or whatever generative AI aggregator we use, and we create the videos, whichever model we like. And I suggest that you try different models and stuff. And sometimes, one model might work for most of them, but then it just can't nail one of them. And so you switch to something else, and that's fine as long as the look is consistent. So then we bring those images in, we create the videos, and then we would bring it into our editing system, which could be Premiere, it could be DaVinci Resolve, it could be CapCut. For my VFX and post company, we use DaVinci Resolve for everything. But for all the social media content that I've been posting online and stuff, I use CapCut because it's just easier, and I can do it on my phone or my laptop, which is a Chromebook, and I can't, I don't have Resolve on that. So that's an option as well. Also with CapCut, you can do generative AI within the editing software as well, and they do have Seedance. Their Seedance seems to be nerfed. I tried to do a test yesterday with face images, and it kicked it back. But if you need to do establishing shots or shots of cars or planes or anything like that, or animals or anything that's not like a human being, you can do that. You can also do like full text to prompt it. It does that fine and can create people. You just can't do images of faces to video right now on CapCut. And then, so you bring all your videos in there, you cut it all, and then you would use 11 Labs. So if you're not familiar with 11 Labs, hang on one second. I have another one open here. Let me find it. Yes, okay. Stand by while I switch this window. Here we go. Okay. So 11 Labs, if you don't know, started as a AI voice generator, and it's the best in the game. So if you remember last week, the OpenClaw wrote a voiceover for the ad. So we would come into 11 Labs and we would, do text to speech, and then we would select a voice and then do it. You can also clone your own voice, which is super cool. That's what I did here. I posted a video yesterday that was just my voice through 11 Labs. So it wasn't actually me recording the video, it was just the voice, and then a digital avatar that I made in HeyGen. But so you would generate any kind of voice narrations and things in 11 Labs, and then download that, bring that into your editing system. And then you can also do sound effects here. So it has a lot already built in, but then you can describe them as well. So we'll just write feet running through dry leaves, and we'll say we need 5.1 seconds of that. It's going to cost us 51 credits. We have 175,000, so that's cool. We'll hit generate, and then it's going to create 4 different versions of that. So we'll listen to these. Might be loud. All right. So again, that was just generated in AI. So 11 Labs, you can generate your voices, you can generate sound effects. You just go in there and type what you need, and it'll make it. It's like having your own Foley artist. Then you'll download those, bring those into your editing software as well. And then it also has image and video built into this. So they do have Cdance. They got VEO. Topaz Upscaler, Kling. Yeah, I think I saw Cdance 2 in here yesterday. Unless they took it out. Cdance 1.5. They may have taken it out for the time being. But so you can do generations in here as well. You can also do music. I haven't used music on here, but there's some that are already pre-made we can listen to real quick. Different ones, you can search genres: classical, ambient, reggae, all different kinds of music. And then same thing, you can create. So we'll say create cinematic trailer score for fantasy action Witcher style movie. Let's just do we'll do 30 seconds, and I'm not gonna do no, I'll do it. It's a bit expensive, 1,500 credits, but I'll do it for you guys. We'll show you what this sounds like. So we'll create these also inside 11 Labs. This is a newer feature as well that they do. Oh, it wrote words too. I probably should have specified instrumental, but okay, so we'll listen to this.
A shadow falls, a hero might lie.
Nice. And the cool thing that I learned about this, you can basically drag these out. So if you want this intro to last a lot longer, like 20 seconds, let's say, it should regenerate this. What does it say? Pending generation. So I don't know if I have to, I guess you have to regenerate it, which I won't do, but basically you can scale these based on however long your score or your music needs to be. So that's really cool as well. Another site that I mainly use for music because it's a lot cheaper is Suno. You get, I think, for $30 or whatever, pretty much like unlimited music creation, and you can create all kinds of music and film scores as well. I'll show you just a song that I did, and I do there's a video on YouTube that I posted a few weeks ago breaking down Suno in more detail, but I'll just show you a film score piece that I did. I remember when we were doing post for our film All of You Will Die, generally when you're editing a movie, you'll lay down a temp track, which is music that exists but that kind of conveys the feel that you want for your movie. And oftentimes what sucks is you fall in love with that music and then you can't afford the music rights for it, and so your composer sometimes creates things that sound similar, sometimes they kind of just do their own thing, but with Suno now, it's like I can literally ask it to create things that are similar to my temp tracks, or the next time I do full post on a movie I direct, I'll just use Suno for the temp track, and then that will probably just grow into the actual score. But so one of the temp tracks that I used a lot in All of You Will Die was from the movie The Green Knight, the A24 movie with Dev Patel. And so I did a couple tests in this to see if it could give me the same kind of vibe. So these are the ones it made. It's like very haunting and kind of low cellos and things like that, which is what the score of A Green Knight is. So this is all AI. All designed in AI. This part is a little weird, but I probably wouldn't use that. But I like the beginning, and then this is another one that it created. There's like very haunting strings and things like that. Again, if you have the budget, if you know composers who you can afford to pay, or that want to do your score for you for free or whatever, do that. But if you don't know people, if you don't have the budget, you can essentially do everything with AI right at this point. And so that's I think how we kind of all have to approach this thing at this point. When you don't have money, the most important thing is to create your art and get it out there. As people start to take notice of you and start to hire you and give you more money to do the things that you're passionate about and create your art, then it's like hire the hire the artisans and the people, because this is going to take away a ton of work from people. So it's like as we all use this to get your foot in the door, and then as you start rising and money starts to be less of an issue for you, hire the people who are masters of what they do. Would be my advice. um so I think with that, I am going to call it a wraps for today. We're just at about 90 minutes, it looks like. So that pretty much wraps up the whole workflow. So I'm gonna work on this trailer more this week, and hopefully next week I'll have the full ad to share with you guys. Um, Make sure to follow me on all the socials. I'm at Canyon Prince on everything except TikTok. TikTok is at Canyon Prince Official. Feel free to DM me or leave me a comment if there's anything you want to see more in depth. I'm posting every day as we're, embarking on this 365-day human reboot experiment, which is the idea of, within a year, creating a life where AI takes care of 90% of the work that I'm doing, so that I can spend all of my time traveling and living life, and only doing the projects that I care about and that I'm drawn to. And that's my hope for all of us, is not that AI will replace us, but that it will replace all the tediousness in our lives and be able to generate income for us, so that we can all get back to doing the things that make us happy, and living our life and pursuing our dreams. So that's my hope. I am an AI optimist. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Again, thanks for all the likes and shares and comments and follows on all the social medias. And I will see you all next week back here. We're here every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our weekly AI recap and deep dive into whatever we're looking at the moment. So if you have any ideas on what you want me to dive into next week, let me know. And I'm sure I'll have plenty of new things going on by then. So thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week. All right, guys.